Microsoft Paint. Microsoft Paint, formerly Paintbrush, is a simple raster graphics editor that has been included with all versions of Microsoft Windows. The program opens and saves files in Windows Bitmap, BMP, JPEG, GIF, PNG, and single-page TIFF formats. The program can be in color mode or two-color black and white, but there is no grayscale mode. For its simplicity and that it is included with Windows, it rapidly became one of the most used applications in the early versions of Windows, introducing many to painting on a computer for the first time. It is still widely used for simple image manipulation tasks. In July 2017, Microsoft added Paint to the list of deprecated Windows features, meaning that it will not be developed further and might be removed in the future. It will, however, be made available in the Microsoft Store for free. History. The first version of Paint was introduced with the first version of Windows, Windows 1.0, in November 1985. It was a licensed version of the Zsoft Corporation's PC Paintbrush and supported only 1-bit monochrome graphics under the proprietary MSP format. This version was later superseded by Paintbrush in Windows 3.0 with a redesigned user interface, true color support, and support for the BMP and PCX file formats. Microsoft shipped an updated version of Paint with Windows 95 and Windows NT 4.0, which allows saving and loading a custom set of color wells as color palette.pal files. This functionality only works correctly if the color depth of images is 16 bits per pixel, BPP, or higher. Later versions of Paint do not support this feature. In Windows 98, Windows 2000, and Windows ME, Paint can save images in JPEG, GIF, PNG formats when appropriate plugins are installed. Such plugins are included with Microsoft Office and Microsoft Photo Draw. This also allows Paint to use transparent backgrounds. Support for PCX files was dropped. Starting with Windows ME, the canvas size expands automatically when larger images are opened or pasted instead of asking. In Windows XP and later, Paint uses GDI+ and therefore can natively save images as BMP, JPEG, GIF, TIFF, and PNG without requiring additional graphics filters. However, alpha channel transparency is still not supported. Support for acquiring images from a scanner or a digital camera was also added to Paint. In Windows Vista, the toolbar icons and default color palette were changed. Paint in Windows Vista can undo a change up to 10 times, compared to 3 in previous versions. It also includes a slider for image magnification and crop function. This version saves in JPEG format by default. Windows 7 and later. The version of Paint in Windows 7 and later features a ribbon in its user interface. It also features artistic brushes composed of varying shades of gray and some degree of transparency that gives a more realistic result. To add to the realism, the oil and watercolor brushes can only paint for a small distance before the user must re-click. This gives the illusion that the paintbrush has run out of paint. In addition, Paint can now undo up to 50 subsequent changes. It also has anti-aliased shapes, which can be resized freely until they are rasterized when another tool is selected. This version supports viewing, but not saving, transparent PNG and ICO file formats, and saves files in the .png file format by default. Text can now be pasted into text boxes that don't have enough room to display the text. A text box can then be enlarged or reshaped appropriately to fit the text if desired. Previous versions of Paint would display an error message if a user tried to paste more text than there was room for. The Windows 8 version of Paint mostly corrects a long-standing defect from previous versions involving an ability to scroll the window when editing in Zoom View over 100%. However, when inserting text in Zoom View, the users cannot move the text beyond the zoomed viewport while the text window is in edit mode with either the mouse or keyboard. Future. In April 2017 Creators Update for Windows 10, Microsoft released Paint 3D along to Paint. In addition to traditional two-dimensional drawing tools, Paint 3D also allows three-dimensional models to be imported and manipulated, and integrates with a Microsoft-operated website known as Remix 3D for sharing 3D creations. In July 2017, Microsoft added Paint to the list of deprecated Windows features, meaning that it won't be developed further and might be removed in the future. Microsoft, however, will make it available in the Microsoft Store for free. Paint was not removed from Windows 10 version 17.09 during the Fall Creators Update in September 2017 or version 18.03 during the April 2018 update. However, the latter has added a Product Alert button to the user interface with an information icon, which delivers the following warning. Paint will soon be moving to the Microsoft Store. Don't worry, it will still be free to download once it moves there. However, in February 2019, Microsoft's decision to make Microsoft Paint as a separate Windows component was retracted, and the following of possible removal was removed after the release of a Windows 10 19H1 Insider build on the said month. Features. Paint has a few functions not mentioned in the help file: a stamp mode, trail mode, regular shapes, and moving pictures. For the stamp mode, the user can select part of an image, hold the Control key, and move it to another part of the canvas. This, instead of cutting the piece out, creates a copy of it. The process can be repeated as many times as desired, as long as the Control key is held down. The trail mark works in exactly the same way, but it uses the Shift instead of the Control key. The user may also draw straight, horizontal, or diagonal lines with the pencil tool without the need of the straight line tool by holding the Shift key and dragging the tool. Moreover, it is also possible to thicken or thin a line either before or simultaneously while it is being drawn via Control++, number pad only, or Control+- number pad only. To crop whitespace or eliminate parts of a graphic, the blue handle in the lower right corner can be dragged to increase canvas size or crop a graphic. Users can also draw perfect shapes, which have width equal to height, using any shape tool by holding down the Shift while dragging. Older versions of Paint, such as the one bundled with Windows 3.1, allow controlling the drawing cursor with the use of arrow keys, as well as a color replace brush, which replaced a single color underneath the brush with another without affecting the rest of the image. In later versions of Paint, the color erase brush may be simulated by selecting the color to be replaced as the primary color and the one it is replaced with as the secondary color, and then right-click dragging the erase tool. Controlling the drawing cursor with the arrow key is no longer supported, but it is possible to simulate it with the mouse keys accessibility feature of Microsoft Windows. Support for indexed palettes. By default, almost all versions of Paint are generally unable to properly downgrade created images to indexed palettes using fewer than 24 bits per pixel. When saving an image in a format that uses indexed palettes with fewer than 24 bits per pixel, a warning message appears about the loss of quality. Paint does not utilize binary, color, or grayscale dithering or palette optimization, and the image will be saved with usually irreversibly scrambled colors. Paint is nonetheless able to correctly load and save indexed palettes in any of the supported formats if an image is opened as an 8-bit or otherwise indexed palette image. In that case, the image's palette is preserved when saving. However, there is no way to see the actual palette. Color choices for brushes, text, and erasers, as well as user-defined colors will be limited to the closest available color in the indexed palette. See also Bundled Paint Equivalents on other OSs, Deluxe Paint for Amiga, Color Paint for KDE, Mac Paint for Macintosh, Pinta for GNOME, Pocket Paint for Windows CE, Xpaint for Unix and X11, Miscellaneous, Comparison of Raster Graphics Editors, Microsoft Fresh Paint, and Pixel Art, a form of digital art.